Okay, I'm going to be changing out the rear rotors and the rear brake pads on my 2003 F150. Right now I got my front wheels chalked. I got the whole rear axle jacked up, and as you can see I have a bottle jack under there, and I have two 6-ton jack stands, so it's resting on the jack stands, so it should be good to go. Alright, I'm going to pop this wheel off. I'm going to get this caliper off. To do that, I got to take out these two 10mm bolts. Okay, that's one slide bolt. Okay, I like to use a little pry tool. Just get underneath the caliper and lift up on it like that. And the caliper should lift right out. Just kind of wiggle it. And it's out. I'm going to go ahead and set the caliper over here on the leaf spring. Like that. I got the caliper sitting up here on the leaf spring, just resting. You want to make sure this is supported, because if this falls off, you don't want it dangling by the brake line. You snap this brake line and you just created a lot more work for yourself, so you don't want to do that. As you can see, I got my caliper resting up there, and I just took my old rotors off. And while you're in here, it's a good time to inspect your parking brake pads. These are fine. I don't think I need to change these out. They're okay. But if you see any, like, you know, just a quick inspection, you're looking for missing springs or broken springs, you know, things like that. But these look pretty good. So I'm not going to mess with these. I'm just going to slap on my new rotors. Okay. Here's your brand new rotor. And you just kind of compare it to the old one. And actually, if you look on top of your rotor, right here, there's some information. This one says minimum thickness 12mm. Should be a diameter on here somewhere, but not seeing it. Oh, here it is. Maximum diameter 230mm. And if you look at the old one, you should be able to find that on there somewhere. They're rusty and nasty, but they're on there. It's the same, so I'm gonna throw these new ones on. But hopefully these will slip right on. Actually, right now I'm gonna, before I slip these on, I almost forgot. I don't want these sticking again, so I'm gonna put a little anti-seize around here so I'm gonna clean up some rust. I'm just gonna do this a quick scrub down. And I have some anti-seize, so I'm going to throw some on there real quick. I don't want it sticking like it did last time. And anti-seize, you don't want to just use a regular grease. This is actually a high temp grease. And if some people use like brake caliper lube or what, it's just your personal preference. But it says on here, like, you know, use on manifolds, head bolts, EGR valves, turbochargers, spark plug threads, intake manifolds, and right here, brake assemblies. So this is good stuff for brakes. A lot of people are like, oh, you can't use that, whatever. Yeah, you can. It says so right here. And why? Because it's high temp. Good stuff. I use brake caliper lube too, but it's high temp as well. Just whatever your personal preference is. But whatever. Anyway. I'm just going to put a little anti-seize on this hub here. Just go around it. I don't want this thing sticking. Just a little bit. Okay. That'll be good. Because that really does help, because you really shouldn't have to beat these things off, and you shouldn't have to drive them off with screws. So just a little dab. A dab will do you. Okay. Put a little anti-seize on there. Okay. That'll work. And for right now, just to hold this thing on, I'm gonna use one lug nut to keep it on, just so I don't have to mess with it while I'm messing. I don't want to mess with it. But okay, now it's onto the pads. Okay, you guys can see that hopefully. I don't have a cameraman, but you got the caliper, and what I do is I kind of push on this corner. You gotta like push on this corner and lift up, push and lift up, push and lift up, because there's these little holes right here, these little tabs. They go inside the caliper, so if you push it out and drag it up, it makes it easier. Get that off. Now while your old pad's in there, I like to take a C-clamp and I loosen it up a little bit. I just want to collapse this piston to make it okay. You just go in the back and just kind of hold it in your hand, and it's driving it back in. I actually have the special tools to do this, but C-clamp works just fine. I have a little kit that's designed for this, but this will work. So you just pressure that in, push. It's seated all the way. I got that in. Now you just take this pad out, you grab it like that and just pull towards you. And you keep working it out. And the pads are out. I'm going to go get the other pads, and while I do that, I'm just looking in here. You want to inspect around the seal and look for any leaks or anything. These are fine. But for now, I'm going to set it up here and go get my pads. You just take this one and compare the new one to the old one. And you can see how much pads on this one, and this one's like about worn to the metal. So that's pretty crazy. But anyway, all right, now you just grab your caliper, careful, and this goes in this way, like this, and you just kind of grab it and work it in. You need to reach behind there and kind of pinch it. It'll fight you a little bit, but you just push it in. And that one's seated. Camera battery died, had to go change out batteries. It would be like this. Just push it in. Okay, it snapped in that time. Okay, she's in now. There you go. Alright, got my pads on, fitting over them. Before I put this caliper in, I want to clean up these. They didn't give me any. This one didn't come with any hardware, so sometimes if it comes with hardware you can replace these shims and these slides, but this didn't come with it, so I'm going to clean these slides up a little bit. Just clean them up a little bit, and I'm going to lube these with some anti-seize. That just helps the brake slide. Now you don't want to get any anti-seize on the rotor, you just try to get it on the slide contact point. So for that I just take a little and just dab it on just a little bit. I actually work it to the outside. Work it to the outside. Then I'll use my finger and kind of rub it in. Just a little lube. Slide point. So I got some lube on here, and also it's a good idea. These don't look too bad. They're pretty clean. The slide bolts that go in the holding the calipers. Before I put these on, I'll lube these up too a little bit. These are the slide bolts. It's a good idea to put a little lube on them. Little anti-seize. Just do that on the slide contact point. Just get both of those real quick. And you just kind of rub it in with your finger. These are ready to go. So just set these here. Alright, like I said, this time I normally replace these, but this time I bought the cheap brakes and they didn't come with the whole kit, so keep that in mind when you're buying cheap brakes, cheap brake pads. But anyway, when you slide this on, you want to push these bolts up like that so you can slide it over the bracket. And you want to set this in and work it down. And remember, like, if you can't get it to go on, you gotta pull these little bolts. Yep, see, I'm going in. So you got the bolt in the way. It can be kind of a pain. Damn it, I think I put the wrong one on. Yep, I did. And how I know that is because this has a double prong. This double prong's got to be on the bottom. So let me swap that out real quick. Oops, my mistake. Okay. All right. Got my caliper piston pushed all the way back. Now, when you put these on, you want to make sure the double, see how there's two prongs on the bottom and one prong on top. You want to make sure the double prongs go towards the bottom, because they're going to go in there like this, and this one sets in there. If you have the wrong one, it won't fit in, but the double prongs go to the bottom, okay, on this particular. So I work that in. Okay, you just work it in like that. It's in. Okay, now this goes in like this, same way. The double prongs go down. That should be good. And I already have these lubed up, so let me put this in. It should sit down here. Okay. When you're putting these in, you want to pull these caliper slides out. So a lot of times you'll fight with the bracket if you don't. Got that one in. I gotta pull, yep, there it goes. You pull this one out. And something's hanging up here. Oh, yep, it's my slide. It's always the slide bolts that hang you up. There you go. I think that's it now. Yeah, she's lined up. Okay, now I'll just take my my lubed up slide bolts. Just lube these up pretty good. This should be ready to slip in. There's that one. I'm gonna rub lube all over this one. Alright, so let me slide this one in. Alright, now just take your 10mm, tighten these down. Just snug these up. Okay, well, this side's done.